The Fog. Action. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another 31 Days of Horror. Today we're looking at The Fog, directed by John Carpenter himself. This movie came out in 1980 and it stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Nancy Loomis, Janet Leigh, Jamie Lee Curtis' mom, Tom Atkins from Halloween 3, and he plays a character named Nick Castle, who happens to be the guy who played Michael Myers. You basically get a lot of people in this movie from Halloween. And you even get John Carpenter himself playing somebody at the very beginning of this movie, and then he just walks away and gets behind the camera again. It even has Charles Cyphers, the cop from the Halloween movie. You get like all this alumni from the first Halloween movie back into this movie. And that's what I really like about this movie. I just saw this movie for the first time today. I never saw this movie. I saw the remake in 2005, back in 2005, and I haven't seen it since. And I've always heard that people hate that movie because I guess it's a little too different than this one, or maybe it's a tamed down version, because this is rated R, and I think the remake was PG-13 maybe, but I don't remember much about that at all. This movie tells a simple story about a ship of people who wanted to move into this colony, and these people in this town, they wanted to build this town to be a big old town, but they stole the gold from this ship, and they burned them and killed them just to take their gold and build a town. So now it's 100 years later, and this ship of ghosts comes back through the fog to take back their gold or kill 6 people. They say they have to kill 6 people, and that's basically the story. I don't have any negatives about this movie, really. I just feel like Nancy Loomis from Halloween, Annie, she's like the weakest actor in this movie. She wasn't even a good actor in Halloween, let's be honest. The acting in this movie can be hit and miss, but overall, I mean, the kills are very tame too, but there's no blood in this movie really. It's just a lot of like stabbings and then it just cuts away. So you're not going to find any blood or gore in this movie, but the kills are still brutal without actually showing you too much. I did find it kind of weird that this radio lady, she's like the DJ, and she just like cuts away mid-song to just be like, alright, I'm going to play a new song. It's like, well, that song's not even over. You just started it 30 seconds ago. But after this board that she finds from her son, it like catches fire, she automatically is like, oh, it's the fog that's responsible. How do you know? I thought that was kind of weird how she just kind of just automatically assumed that the fog was evil just because this board was like catching fire. And I found it kind of weird that this lore is making these shipmates that are dead coming through the fog, killing 6 people. It felt like a random number. I think it was supposed to be like 6 people who were responsible for killing them. But it was just 6 random people. It wasn't actually 6 people responsible. Like, these random people were not related to the people who actually did the crime a century ago. But yeah, overall, I thought this movie was pretty good. So, positives here on out. Dean Cundy comes back to do the lighting in this movie, and when you're watching it, it feels like the first Halloween movie because of just the lighting. You just know it's a Dean Cundy lit movie. And then, of course, the score. You get another John Carpenter score. He does the score for this movie. The piano. It's got a decent score. It's not the best score. It's not better than like Christine or Halloween 3 or Halloween. But this is still a good score, and in some moments it really does build the tension, and it actually complements the scenes towards the second half of this movie. This movie might be a little slow towards the beginning, but I like how they, like Jamie Lee Curtis, she gets to play somebody who's like the opposite of like Laurie Strode. You know, Laurie Strode was like an innocent little, teenage girl who forgot her chemistry book. But in this one, she's like a hitchhiker, hippie, going to like Vancouver, probably to go to like Woodstock or something. I don't know where she was. She was going to like Vancouver, but she just automatically sleeps with like Tom Atkins. She's just like a hitchhiker having sex with random people. And Tom Atkins gets to play basically the same guy from Halloween 3, just having sex with random women. So I just like those aspects of it. But these fog people were creepy, and then towards the end of the movie, their eyes start glowing red. They might seem cheesy and dated, but it's dated in a good way where it's still fun. I'm surprised I never saw this movie growing up. I wish I did. I mean, it might not be a bloodfest, so it's not like a slasher movie, but it's still a fun story, and it's still fun to watch. The second half of this movie, it's very fun. I mean, the first half, it might be a little slow in a little bit, some parts, but it's still interesting. I find the lore and backstory interesting, kind of new, fresh, and it just proves that John Carpenter is probably one of the best horror masterminds that we've had in this generation and the last generation. But yeah, I thought the movie paced pretty well. There were some cool special effects for its time with like water just coming out of nowhere and just disappearing, kind of like Christine when the car breaks and reverses. It like fixes itself. There was like a water trick they did in this. But overall, I gotta say I enjoyed this movie. It wasn't bad. I mean, it might be dated to some people who don't like to see older movies. They're spoiled by today's technology and shit. But this movie was still fun. It's not a slasher movie. It's just a kind of a supernatural ghost movie, but they're ghosts, but they're still in human form. They can pick you up and stab you. Good movie. So therefore, I recommend when it comes to The Fog that you should go out and buy it. Add it to your collection, John Carpenter collection. This is a good John Carpenter movie, so you should definitely get it. So those are my thoughts on The Fog. Have you seen this movie? Did you like it better than the remake? Is the remake any good? I can't remember it, so let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, you can hit that like button and click on my beautiful face in 5 seconds to subscribe. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.